What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Good morning, good morning. We're going to work on some artwork today. So, fortunately, one of your fellow creatives has allowed us to do this one live. So, again, we appreciate the support and the opportunity for others to learn. So, we're going to go ahead and get into this one. It's a graduation design. This is using the 125 Innate Academy template. So I'm sure a lot of you are doing some graduation designs right now and pushing out that work. And this one is going to fit right on in with maybe some of the stuff that you're even doing today. Hey, Simply Beautiful Nikki, Vashti, Cheryl, what's up? Rona, Sharon, and Latoya, good morning, good morning. All right, let me go on and get to business right now. And let's see what we have here. 5 photos. So we're going to go ahead. Now this particular design only uses 2 photos, but what I'm going to do is kind of design around those 2 photos and then just pull the extra ones in wherever I want them. Because if you do happen to mock it up and show a customer and you show them the stole with the shirt, or you show them the shirt with the stole, they may want to do an add-on item, and those are usually considered upgrades or just similar products that they might be interested in. And we also call them upsells. So you may be able to do some upsells. So just by mocking something up or having it prepared, it puts you in a better position to do that. And this particular template is designed to make upsells be less work, because it's going to simultaneously design the all over, the 13 by 19, and the graduation stole at one time, right? So let's say your customer just wanted the all over shirt, but you can also show them the stole and the 13 by 19, and they'll say, well, you know, maybe some of the family who may not want to pay as much for an all over, they may go for that 13 by 19, and shoot, since you already have a design, let me go ahead and get her a stole for, for memento purposes or whatever. So the fact that it designs all together pretty much makes this a banging template, if I may say so myself. Now, it is a large template, so I do want to warn you that some of these larger templates, they do a lot, but they also require a lot of resources. So you have to make sure that your Photoshop's updated, that your computer can handle this size file. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you what size the file is. That might be helpful. This one is about 530 megabytes, so that's about half a gig. That's pretty large, but it's not that much larger than some of our other templates that just have the all over. Those are usually anywhere from 300 to 400. So this one happens to be 531, but it will design all 3 things almost instantaneous. Designing one will change the other. All right, so let me quit talking about it. Let's go ahead and get to work. I'm going to use my Remove VG just to, just quickly see whether these images are going to pull up cleanly or not, if I'm going to have a little trouble. There's one, and I'll probably, it looks like it cleaned up the background where her glasses were, which actually may be helpful to me, because depending on my background, I may need that opening. All right, so I'll leave that alone. That was photo 4. Let's do photo 3. And then I can always click on the original to see if it got rid of anything that I didn't want. And I think it's fine. The picture itself has some wrinkles in it, and the background is a little muddy, but I think it did a good job of pulling that out. Photo 2. And also, when you're designing these for your clients, you have to keep in mind how much energy and time you put into it, and what's the best value for your customer. So sometimes you can nitpick things a little bit further, but it may cost you some time, and that has to be quoted, otherwise you're doing it for free. All right, so let's go ahead. That was, I think there's one more, and let's see if it recognizes the background on that one. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and download each of these. and that's actually photo 5. I should have renamed it. I'm trying to do better about renaming and organizing my layers and my file names and all of that good stuff, so that I can teach you all how to be better too. So there are years of not doing things the right way, and and doing it the right way but not the best way. So I do like to name my layers. I like to name my files things that I can quickly understand what it is. Otherwise it'll be like, you know, when you download something from Facebook and it's like got 1800 characters that don't spell out anything, and then when you're in Photoshop you're looking through 12 different images that neither one of them have any kind of indicator of what's actually on that photo. So you end up working yourself harder in the long run, and honestly that's what I want to teach you all not to do. Because it took a little bit of habit and control for me to rename things. It seems like a really simple deal, but ask yourself how many untitled documents or untitled Photoshop files that you have somewhere saved just because like in the moment you just wanted to go ahead and get it saved and you didn't care, and you're just gonna go ahead and just hit save as whatever the default title is. And the reason why I know that's so common is because one time someone, I think it was my granny, she was like, yeah, I think it's named United One, and I was like, no granny, it's Untitled, and all of my files that I had downloaded, this was when I was in high school, all of the files I would download would be Untitled, and I would just put a number after it. It's really bad. So don't do that, okay? Don't be like the high school me that caused all kind of havoc to my computer. All right, so we have all the images saved now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my folder where the images should have saved, pull it on screen for a moment, and let's see, what would I like to use as my main image? I'm probably going to use the graduation photo with the cap and gown as the main image because I don't have any instruction to do otherwise. And Quantavious, if you're here, love, let me go back to my chat. Let me know, and I can take your words into consideration here with this design. So if there's anything that you see that you want to change, just give me a little indicator there in the chat, okay? All right, so let's see how simple we can keep this. I'm only going to change 2 images first, and I'm going to change out all the colors and everything and show you how this would work if you were doing a 2-image setup. And then I'm going to go in and add the additional photos, kind of play with the placement, and explain to you this is why you charge for extra photos, okay? So let's go ahead to photo number 1, double click it, and I'm going to drag in. So I'll put it right here so you can see how I drag it in. Just going to drag and drop right here from my Explorer. And I'm going to pull that up just a little bit. Turn off the previous image. And because this one is specific to, I'm going to get rid of some of these layers. Maybe I can make it a little bit smaller. Well, that would be if my delete button was working. Hold on. I think Photoshop is showing out because I'm doing the streaming. So we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to make this file as small as possible so that we don't run into any issues. Now I'm going to go ahead and fade this photo off here by adding a layer mask. I have my brush selected here. You have a soft round brush that's right there in your general brushes, and I will make it about a 400 pixel brush. So I'm going to type in 400 if my keyboard will cooperate with me. There we go. Alright, and then I can hover over my image here and I can see the size of that. So all I'm going to do is make sure that black is loaded up, because black is going to conceal while white reveals. And right now it's all white, it's all being revealed. So let's do some concealing. Let's come down here and I'm just going to swipe across the bottom. You see I'm not on top of the image. I'm more or less coming from the bottom down here, just as if I was spray painting or airbrushing, right? And so that caused a little bit of a fade off, which doesn't look so bad to me and so harsh to me. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to say yes to save, and you see automatically that's updated our photo number 1. And you see it also updated the watermark here, it updated the photo on the left side of the stole, and updated the photo on the 13 by 19 design. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Let's change out photo number 2. We'll go back to our photos here to see which one we want to put as our photo number 2. And I'm thinking maybe the band photo looks fun. It looks really fun. The photo here is more of a full-length photo, but we can of course resize it. So I'm thinking I'll use the fun band photo, and then I'll fill in with the okay, what did we call that photo? It's not the cap and gown, the senior photo. We just call it senior photo, and then the personal photo, and then also the baby image. So we'll kind of find ways to pop those in wherever we see appropriate, but right now let's just go ahead and change out photo number 2. Okay, so I'm going to right click on photo number 2. I have to choose my move tool, right click on photo number 2, double click on it because that is a smart object. I can turn off my existing layer and go ahead and drag and drop the one without the background. So this is my PNG. And I'm going to kind of set it central here. Well, no, because we have other images we can layer down here, but I am going to at least fade that off at the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead, grab our layer mask there, grab the paintbrush, it's loaded up with black, and I'm just going to swipe across the bottom and I'm done. I'm going to say yes to save that, watch it update. Okay, and see how it updated here on the stole as well, and it updated on the 13 by 19. Now I can't guess like whether all of your pictures going to be the same size or what number of photos, but for photo 1 and photo 2 I did my best to make it really simple to where these things automatically updated. If I want to see more of this sax and I don't want it to fall off too much to the edge of the stole, then I would shrink this image down a little bit. I'm not too concerned if the elbow's missing there, but I'm sure the saxophone is something she's really proud of, and I want to make sure that that is seen. Okay. The next thing is the logo. I was not given a logo for this school. Is there any way? And if we don't have one, that's fine. We don't have to incorporate a logo. Let's see. Nikki, I didn't use black to fade to white. What it is let's go back to that for a second. Or I'll tell you what, I'll explain a little bit more with the next one that we bring in. Let's see what image we're going to bring in next. Let's go ahead and bring in photo number 1. So I'm going to I'm gonna have to bring them in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring them in one at a time here, and this is gonna be for a 13 by 19. So I'm just gonna pull them into the 13 by 19 image rather than pull them in on the all over, because it's not gonna be necessary right now. And let me just make sure, I'm gonna double check to make sure that I'm doing a 13 by 19 and not an all over design. Oh no, this one is an all over design. So I will do it on the all over, and then if we need to, we'll copy those changes to the 13 by 19. Okay. Oh, I do have the name of the school, Windsor Forest High School. Let's get it. Let's see if we can find this logo. It might even be something that I have already, but let's check and see. Windsor Forest High School. Let's just see what imagery pops up. I have seen this before because I have this logo somewhere. I do, I remember. So let's see, since I already have that one, because I remember this was a lot of poor quality of the graphic, because it usually seals are going to be really hard to get good quality graphics of. So let's see if we can find something better. I don't know that that's better. That's only 263 pixels. That's pretty small. I'm really aiming to find something that has a better logo. Windsor Forest. And that just happens to be on a blanket, which has a whole bunch of kind of stuff just floating in the outside. I'm not going to be able to cleanly get that one. Let's see. If I go to Windsor Forest High School and then I go to my tools, size, I want anything that's large size, and I'm going to type in logo. See what I come up with. Let's see, let's open that one in a new tab. That's obviously not large. Let's see, tools, size. Let's go for large and see what comes up. And this one says it's large. It's a large size, all right. There we go. Let's see what these images are here. There's one. We'll call that logo. That's actually pretty high resolution, although it looks a little, you know. Yep, so I guess that was it for that particular school. So that's good. We have a logo. I was hoping to kind of play with the other logo just to make it a little different from a past project, but you get what you get and you don't complain a bit, right? So let's go ahead and close out of all this, and let's change out our logo now. So I can right click on any logo. I can right click on the logo on the all over. I can right click on the logo on the stole. I can right click on the logo in the 13 by 19. Any one of those, because it's a smart object. I can double click on it, change it out, and it will propagate for all instances of that smart object. Now obviously this is going to have a background because it said it was a JPEG. So in order for me to get this white out, I'm going to have to do a couple of extra steps. Let's grab my magic wand. Let's grab the white from the outside. And it looks like I selected contiguous, but you see how what I was saying, this is not really high resolution. But because there's some openings here, and I remember dealing with this project before, because I remember this logo having to play with it. Let me show you what I would do. So in this case, I need not to select the interior of the horse's face, because if it's not white, it's going to be transparent in those areas, which is really going to clash with the background. So I'm going to take this little lasso tool real quick. I'm going to hold down the Alt key. And my keyboard is not keeping up now that I'm doing this live. I have a wireless keyboard right now that is really acting janky at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it that I'm doing the subtract here, because since I have the outside meat selected, I'm going to subtract some of this stuff here. Because it's not supposed to be selected anyhow, so I'm just, you know, kind of arbitrarily getting some of these areas that I don't think should be selected. And in a way, I'm almost drawing different areas. And with the tool that I have right now, this little lasso, it's a hand-drawn lasso. So basically anything that I touch and I draw around is detracting from the current selection. So I don't want it to get all inside of the horse right here. I want that to remain white. Alright, so a little area here might be a cause for concern. And then of course I can go back after I have this selection and choose inside of this area. Let's see if I can choose Alt. No, it didn't do my Alt. So let me just choose the minus selection here, see if it'll, and it won't do that either. So we'll just hand select that later. But you see how jagged it is? It's not really nice and neat. They blew the image up, but it is definitely not a clear high resolution image. So I'm going to hit shift and select all of this extra outside meat, and then I'm going to select the inverse. So let's go to select inverse, and now the inside meat is what's selected and the outside meat is not selected. One way you can check this is go to select and mask, and I have it set on the overlay right now, and what it does is it makes whatever I'm not selecting a certain color so I can clearly see what I'm selecting. And here, if you will notice where the horse's face is, all that would have been red and would have been cut out. So what I just did with the polygon tool was I added it back to the selection so that we can keep that, okay? So it makes sense. But I'm still seeing these jagged edges, so I'm going to choose to smooth it just a little bit. I don't want to feather it too much because we'll end up with fuzzy edges. So I will feather it 1 pixel just to make it look neat. And it's going to cut off a little bit of the hair here. I can come up there and see if I want to bother with that. Alright, so I think I'm going to be okay with this, and I may physically, because it's a mask, it's not going to actually cut any pixels off, right? It's a mask, so we can always add things back even if we happen to take them away visually for the moment, okay? So let's go to OK. I'm going to create a layer mask now. So I'm going to hit this mask button and see what it does for me. And I think I'm okay with that. Alright, I am not going to pick over it. Now what I will do is, if we really needed to add some of this outline back, I could put a little outline on there. But honestly, I think it looks better without it. Just do a little inside stroke just to see where it's going. Yeah, I think it looks better without it. It's so jagged that any attention to it is going to be negative. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring back my Eagles logo just so I can see the scale of it. Let's do Control T. And let's make that a little bit larger so that it's pretty much the same size. We'll go ahead and turn off our eagle now, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete these extra layers because I want to make this file as small as possible. If you want to see what's behind it, you can turn on this color just to see. I can take out this inside piece now. So let me go ahead and do that. Select that little inside piece there, come to my layer mask, and again, black conceals and white reveals. So I can take my fill bucket and fill it up with black, and it got rid of it, or I'll take a step back, I could use my paintbrush and paint black in that area, and it's only going to apply to the area that I have selected. Control D allows me to deselect that area, and I'm going to turn off the green here. Say yes, I want to save this. It will update to my design now. You see that we have the logo here. We also have the logo kind of watermarked in this location, and because of the orientation of the logo, I will have to move it just a little bit so it makes sense in my graphic. So I'll just move my logo. Maybe I'll do it left side instead of right in the middle now. And of course it's right here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for this logo here, just because it's much taller than my previous logo, and I want it to take up that space that the 0 would take up. Alright. Same thing here. I might choose to do a little something different with my logo. So this is just watermarked anyway. And of course, like I said, we're going to have those additional photos to bring in there too. So maybe the left heavy logo will allow me to put more photos on the right side. Okay, all right. So the next thing I'm going to do is change the colors. Now you don't notice unless you did the class that there is on the stove, there's a hidden layer that says turn off for printing, and this designates your swatches. Okay, so anywhere that you see a smart color you can change it, but I change it here just so that it visually makes sense for me, and it kind of organizes my thoughts. So wherever I see red right now, I'm going to change that to the green. Okay, so I'm going to right click on that smart color, and we'll see it in several different places. You have a smart color here, you have a version of it here, The idea of a smart object is that it is essentially the same object but a different instance of that single object. So a smart color is nothing more than a smart object that I just call a smart color. Okay. Alright, so now in order to get the color that I want here, instead of red, I want it to be this green. But I think I'm going to do the lighter green and the darker green just to kind of add both of those colors in there. So let's get our color picker tool. It looks like an eyedropper, and I'm going to pick a green. And see, I can hover around on her garment until I get to a green that I really like, and then I'm going to copy that hex code. And then I can come here, paste the hex code. Okay, now if there was a specific green, let's say for instance, I'm going to go to Team Color Codes. A lot of our high schools are, trying to make sure. Okay, I was making sure I was streaming. Maybe they shut it down. Don't know. Okay, well anyhow, I was going to take you to Team Color Codes, but it looks like they're having a little issue right now. Let's say that I wanted the hex color for Green Bay Packers. Let's say that whatever green Green Bay Packers use is the color. Oh yeah, that site is definitely not working now. Let's see. USA Team Colors. Okay, so now I have a different website to reference, but let's say that dark green is the green that they use. I could go to the hex color and I could copy that, and to be consistent every time that I did that school color, I would use that hex code. So I'll just paste it there, and maybe I didn't copy it. Let's make sure. Copy it. And a hex code is nothing more than a 6-digit number that identifies a very specific color. I think my keyboard is not working while I'm doing this live. That's what it is, it's my keyboard. So see how that's a totally different green? And if you were trying to be consistent with your colors, especially when it comes to team colors and school colors, then you definitely want to make sure that you're keeping up with those color codes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from one color, and their green is a little more forest green than this one, has a little more blue tint to it. So I am going to go back a step to go ahead and go with my more of that forest green color. So, and I'm going to get rid of different layers so I can keep this clean. Like I said, I'm cleaning up this file to make it as small as possible. That's right, Lisa. Black is to conceal, white is to reveal. You got it. Lisa, you are on it. Alright, so for the next color, so for where the blue is here, now the blue also is what's going to change here. I can choose to go with the same color, like because this school is pretty much white, black, and then a color. Usually you'll have schools that might have like a green and a gold, or maybe blue and an orange, or you know, some very different colors, and that's where it would come into play to have these two different colors here. In this case, it's pretty much just green and white and black, and we already have white and black everywhere, so I think I may just go ahead and change this one to green here, and maybe change the middle one to white and see how that plays out. Or I might use that bright green in the middle. That's what I'm thinking. So again, I'm going to, let me grab, because I don't think I grabbed my hex color again after I did that. Let me grab that hex color. And I am going to duplicate this layer, take my Smart Color 2, well I guess this would be Smart Color 3. I'm going to make that the same green. Then I'm going to play with making it that bright green in the middle, just for kicks and giggles. Okay, so I don't know if they use this green often, but I do see it like in their uniforms and that sort of thing, and maybe it's just to kind of kick things up a little bit, be a little bit different. So I'll grab that green, Let's triple click, copy the hex code there. And like I said, I think I'm going to try it in the center. Let's see how that looks. Alright, so smart color 1. Well, this is actually a smart color 2. That's changing right now to the brighter green. I'll say that maybe the grass green. Alright, and then let's see if it updated there. Okay, so that's the grass green, and then I'm going to bring the hunter green. So when I close out of this and I hit yes, that means it's saving, it's updating the mother file. So let's pretend this is like the child file, and once you update it, it reports back to mom, and then the mother file is updated. Okay, so here we are, and you'll notice that the dark green is now here for the text, which is everywhere that the color 3 was, and then everywhere the light green color was, like the class of, has been now changed to the lighter green. But maybe I want a little more darker green in the background of my 13 by 19 and my all over. So I'll go to that background there. And it has a little bit of, smart color 1 is just fading from black to nothing. So fading from black to transparent, which gives me a little bit of fade off the bottom here. I could absolutely change that to another color. I just like it being black because it's simple, it's grounding, and it pretty much fits almost any color combination you go with. So what I want to do is I want to do a fade off from the darker color to the top to the middle. So then we have the darker color fading into the medium color, and then it goes from black to the bottom. So in order to do that, I need a copy somewhere of smart color 3. So I see a smart color 3 here. I'm going to alt click and drag it right above my background and turn it on, make it visible. Now right now it's just on a normal color mode. That means it's just coloring over everything. I'm going to change that in just a moment, but I want to create a layer mask where I fade this off, and here's where the black concealing and the white revealing comes in again. Okay, so I'm going to go to my gradient tool now. Where your fill bucket is, there's a gradient tool, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on the foreground to transparent, where you see that checkerboard. Okay, and my foreground is black, so that means it's gonna go from black to transparent. So black is going to conceal and white's going to reveal. And if you see what I just did there, I'll go back a step. I'm adding black to the bottom, holding down shift so that it goes straight up and down. I don't want any funky angles here. I just want to go straight up and down. And then you'll notice now that if I turn this layer mask on or off, that's the color fully showing through. This is the layer mask. It's basically a window that allows things to show and then hides other things. So I'm hiding the bottom of this layer right now. And then I want to change my blend mode. I think I'm going to change it to, let's start with color. Ooh, I like multiply. Blend modes are something else. In this class, we played with the blend modes. In every class, we play with blend modes. We play with the brushes. We play with layer masks. So there's never a dull moment in class. We're learning something every single time. Even when you have a template, you're still going to learn how to use Photoshop. All right, so if you look now, I'm fading from my dark green up top to my little bright green and then to my black. And I like that. Going back to my move tool. And I'm going to take this same exact thing and I'm going to alt click and drag. That means it's going to duplicate, and I want to bring it over to my 13 by 19. Now I'm moving my artboard. Alright, so since it is now on my 13 by 19 board, I'm just going to Control T. I want to transform it because this is a much smaller art file, right? Alright, so as I was saying, I'm going to go ahead and resize this so that it properly fits on my 13 by 19. Alright, and then I'm going to drag it down to the layer right above my background. So see what it did? Same old thing. So basically I used something that I did on one artboard and duplicated that and was able to carry it out here. So I'm going to let that dark green kind of pull down so it contrasts with the light green there. And then I'll let the light green pop out a little bit. So that's my little design set up there. And we said we're going to change the name, so let's go ahead and change the name. Let's go to our work order. Go ahead and close out that window. Like I said, if I wasn't demonstrating, usually the templates can be changed out in about 10 minutes once you get used to them. So if you're doing this one over and over again for different graduates, you should be able to do a design in 10 minutes. This one's a little bit, depending on if you're doing all 3 or just 1 at a time, it might take you maybe an additional 5 minutes to change the name out on each one of these. Right, mascot is a knight, we got that in there. Okay, so this one we have first and last name, so I'm going to copy. Just right click on the word first name, and you know what, I don't know if I have this font installed here. Blanchot. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to show you if you don't have a font installed. I can see right here at the top, see how it has an exclamation point? It's telling me, warning, you don't have this font, don't do it to yourself. And then I can see up here the character, it says Blanchot. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to spell it. So I'm going to show you what I would do to search for the font. Okay, B-L-A-N-C-H-O-P-E, font. Boom, there we go. Go ahead and download it. Show it in the folder, double click, install it. And Photoshop should recognize let's see, let's close out of that one out. That we have the font. Let's see. So now when I go to double click on it, it might change to a exclamation point that's gray instead of white now. Yep, there it goes. So it's white. Meaning that now it's tested it, we have the font and no more exclamation point. So let's go ahead and do Control V to paste the name there. And if you notice, I have these smart colors in certain areas. So now my smart color was only coloring the name when it was inside of these parameters. So I need to Control T so I can transform. I'm going to pull in the name here. Just so I can make sure that it fits. And then if I also need to change my smart color, I can transform it and make it fit. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to lock in that transformation. I can take my smart color there, Control T, just the smart color. And my shortcuts aren't working right now. I think it's just live streaming. So let's go to edit, transform. Or you can just go to free transform, that's your Control T. And now I see where my color is, and I see why my color was not coloring. outside of this area. So I'm going to give it a little bit of playroom so I don't have to be so careful with it, but it is absolutely recoloring my text now, that little box there. All right, so that is pretty much it. I would go change the name here if I wanted to take the same name and copy and paste it there. That's the only thing I would have to change. And then I would have to copy and paste the name here as well. And the reason why they're separate is because in these different instances, your layouts might be different. So the name might not fit the same way on one instance that it fits on another. So you have the ability to kind of control those independently while everything else changes together. All right, so let's go ahead and pull in the other images. We have some extra photos we're going to bring in. And I'm going to design it on the all over. And then we'll also bring that same layout into 13 by 19 and see if it works for that as well. So before I bring anything in, I'm going to go to the layer where I see the photo. So then that way when I drag and drop a new photo on there, it's dragging and dropping it right on top of the previous image that we had selected. And we'll have to play with placement a little bit because I think we have 2 more photos. Yep, we have 2 more photos here. So let's go ahead and bring in this one. And as long as I don't see any words, let's say if I needed to flip this one so that she's turning the opposite way, I'll just flip the image while I'm in the transform mode. So while I'm in transform mode, I'm going to right click, go to that photo, Control T. I'm in transform mode, right click, and then I'm going to flip horizontal. And now I have her kind of back to back, so her face isn't covered up so much by the letters there. Okay, so that's one, and I think I have one more. I have a baby photo to bring in. Oh, that one came in huge. So let's bring it down a little bit. And maybe the baby photo I'll even place on top of the main image. I'm trying to find my good placement there. All right, and how this works out is pretty much everything is still within my dotted line area. I tell y'all all the time that this area is important because if you go outside of the area, you never know what's going to get cut off. So I like to warn you all not to push it too much past that. Plus, if you keep it in this area, you can easily convert this design now to a 13 by 19, even if you didn't have the smart version of it that did it for you. Alright, so I'm just moving these around a little bit. I'll make this one a little bit bigger. Now I don't mind that her shoulder kind of hangs off a little bit. I just don't want faces and text hanging outside of that area. And I'm going to also fade off the bottom of this because I don't like seeing that little hard edge there. Go ahead and add a layer mask here. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my brush tool and I'm going to brush right there in the bottom. So remember, black conceals, white reveals. So I'm concealing that little hard edge right there, fading it off. I'm going to do the same thing to this photo, but I have to be on that photo. So I'm going to select photo 4, add a layer mask, and then I'm going to grab my brush, make it a little bit bigger. It'll fade off quicker. And see how I'm just fading that one off? same deal. Alright, so a lot going on here, but you can clearly see that we had a method to the madness, and we pretty much have a final product. Let me check in to see if Quantavious, are you here, love? Do you need anything updated or changed here? Oh yeah, if you want to see color 1 changed, I'll show you an example. So color 1 right now, it can be a color, it can be a pattern, it can be a print. Let me show you a little something. And this is actually, I'm working on something for you all. I'm going to do like a Gucci pattern wallpaper, just to show you what the smart objects are capable of, okay? So I'm going to take this Gucci wallpaper pattern, right? Let's go ahead and make it full screen, see how big it is. Open object, or open the image in a new tab. Let me see how big it is. It's kind of pixelated, but it'll work for this purpose. Let's save that image, right? Let's save it as print example. Alright, so if for my smart object, if I want to do a pattern or an image or anything, I can actually do a whole nother image here. I don't have to just do a color. I have just aimed to make it something that when you see it, you know what to do with it. And that's the point of the templates. You're limitless in Photoshop itself. The limits that I provide are just suggestions. So I like to show you all how to test these suggestions. So let's go to Smart Color 1. Let's double click on it. And you see that we have this little fade off here. I could also do a solid color there. I want to take this fade off, and let's say that I want to bring that image in instead. I'm going to literally drag it right from the browser, bring it into Photoshop, drop it like it's hot right here, make it the appropriate size here. I'm going to drag it to the bottom, but I need it to be big enough where it takes up the entire space here. And I might even repeat it below it because I know some of that's going to get cut off. So I'm going to take it up here, this Alt, click and drag this below, kind of snap it to where it makes a little sense. And I'll drag that below. Alright, and then I'm going to take all of this and create a clip and mask to this little fade off here, right? So now I can pretty much determine how much I want to fade off, how much of my image I want there. Boom, boom. I'm going to bring that. See, I'm now messing with my gradient here. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm just playing with it, showing you what you can do outside of a typical color. You can put patterns in there. You can put a watercolor background in there. I'm just curious to see what this will look like, so we're going to try it out. Alright, sorry about that, loves. Okay, so wherever we had this color now, you see, is where the pattern is. So you can play with that even. And as a matter of fact, we come down here right now, that Smart Color 1 is this one's a different Smart Color. As a matter of fact, let me change that out then. Let me delete that one and put in our new Smart Color. So we'll grab Smart Color 1 from, where did I see it? From here. I'm going to click and drag it down below to the all over. Where's that? My 13 by 19. Yep. Let's drag it to the all over. That's the stole, 13 by 19, and then this should be the all over. Alright, so I'm just going to Control T, put it where I want it. And now that's a smart color, but really it's a smart pattern. And I see I need to fade this off a little bit better here, so I'll go to my smart color and make sure it's faded off appropriately. Go ahead and clip it down here, turn that on, turn everything else off, and then I'm just going to manually fade it with the gradient tool on my layer mask. Drag and drop. That should clean it up pretty good. And like I said, I'm not telling y'all to print these for customers, but of course if you're doing your own thing and you want it to make something super fancy for yourself, then that's your personal use and prerogative, but I definitely wouldn't suggest advertising as such, you know. Okay, so that's it. Now instead of a color, it's an actual pattern of print. And of course you can play with it down here too. Play with the blend mode, all of that good stuff. Right now it's on normal. And you can change the blend mode to multiply or something else. And see how it also changed the color here on the numbers. You can take that smart color 1. Let's say you didn't want it on the numbers. You can turn it off. See that? Just that simple. Alright, now I'm going to change it on back to black by double clicking on color 1. Turning off my little thing that we just made just now. Turn it back on the Smart Color 1 copy. And let's close out. Watch it update. And it'll go back to how it was before with the black. Alright, so there we go, back to the original. So you can see how creative you can be with these things. And like I said, these are design suggestions. I want you to think outside the box. I want you to see, oh, I can make pillows with this. I can do tumblers. I can put prints where the solid color is. I can remove the grunge and maybe even put an image of let's see, what could I think of back there? Maybe a beach image in the background. Whatever you can think of. It doesn't even have to be graduation now. Now it can be a getaway shirt. Like I know y'all been coming at me with different themes, and I want to start getting some of those themes built into templates, but y'all know your girl is booked and busy. I'm trying to be there for y'all for these design ideas, but some of you had ideas about a casino or a girls trip and that sort of thing, and I have not forgotten about those ideas. I just need to develop ideas for them. But you can literally take something that is already here. Yes, it looks like a graduation design, but once you put whatever background and whatever text you want on there, it becomes anything you want it to be. Remembrance, anniversary, birthday, whatever you can think of. Okay, so I do want y'all to know that these templates are very versatile. I try to design them with general design concepts that aren't very restrictive to anything outside of what you can apply them to. So this is not just a graduation design. Alright, so I see a little hard line here I want to do something about. Why is my Smart Color 1? Oh, I see. So it's fading off side to side. but I need to stretch it out to the edges of the shirt because it has, if you don't notice, see that little line right there? It's because it wasn't faded off all the way to the edge. So we got that now, we're good. We are good. And I'm just bringing it down just a little bit because I want the black a little more concentrated towards the bottom, let some of the green show through a little bit. Okay. And some of you were saying, hey, the black is too overpowering. Boom, there you go. Bring it down a little bit, or turn it off, or change it to another color. All right. I can just as easily change that black to, I like to duplicate. So I keep whatever's originally there, and then I can change the new one. So let's say that new one, I'm going to, instead of black, I can fade it from white at the bottom. That's a simple change. And let me tell you something about this fade off to white. Fade off to white, save you some ink, it'll save you some time. And if I were to fade off the white, the best part to fade off the white would be the top up here, right? Where the sleeves are, because that's where you're going to end up with all your little white issues anyway. So if you want it to be a little smart there, go ahead and fade it off the white up here to the top, and then you can avoid some of the issues that you're going to have when you have those imperfections in the sleeves and around the collar. So just some ideas, some tips. This was a rush order for a customer, so let me make sure that I don't see any input right now on it. Let me make sure. Oh, and this is also going to be some prints. So I don't know if all of you are aware, we do the large format printing and even the 13x19 prints for you. We even can print the 13x34 or the 13x44 inch stoles if you want to do that pretty much in one step. Let me go ahead and change that back to the black. You know, I like the white too. So let's turn it back to the black. Y'all tell me, do y'all like the black at the bottom or the white? I think black just because it grounds it, and people like to see as little of the white shirt as possible. So yes, it ends up being a little more work, but it does, you know, kind of kick it up a little bit. So people can't tell it started as a white shirt. All right, so I think I'm good with this. And I'm going to turn off my fade up to black on each of these. That's my color 1. So I'm going to take my smart color 1 and just turn it off. Because the dark green is already really dark, so the black kind of intensifies that. So for this purpose, I'm going to take off the black that fades up, which is that smart color 1. I like it down there at the bottom, but just not on the text. Alright, and then I definitely want it to fade up from black at the bottom of the stole, because I hate when I see the bottom of the stole. It's just stark white, unless it's fading to white. Alright, so I think we're in there. We got it. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, where it says turn off for printing. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to export this. Export the artwork. So I'm going to turn off this layer. Now, if I am printing this myself with the 13x19 split file, and y'all know about that one, the template that we have that splits it up into the appropriate number of tiles for 13x19 printers, 24-inch printers, and the 8.5-inch wide printers, right? So I would export it as this big old artboard here, right? If I'm doing the option where I'm sending it to Innate Lab to print, I am going to put the outside mask on here, and I need to update that. So I'm going to update that here. I'm going to take this outside mask area, because this helps me when I go to place. So some of you have been sending it like this to me, like a wallpaper to print, and yes, I will print all of that, but then you don't have any idea of click that part right there. You don't have any idea of where to place it on the shirt, and you end up placing it kind of crooked because you have no indication of where the sleeves are. So let me go ahead and make a little, what did I just do? Okay, so let me make a new layer, and I'm just gonna paint that white. Right, and what that does is when you print it and you get these prints printed, first of all, it takes me less time to print it because I'm not printing edge to edge of ink. Secondly, when you receive this print, you'll know how your shirt is supposed to lay on it because you'll be able to see where the sleeve area is versus the body of the shirt. Okay, so if you don't put that on there and you send it to me, you can ask me. I will put the you know, the outside on this if you tell me, hey, I need this to need you to put the t-shirt outline on it for me. There is a resizing fee if your board does not come in as a 36 by 44, and I have to tell you why. I will have to do extra work to make sure that it is indeed a 36 by 44 and that your image isn't going to get cut off and look crazy when you try to press it on something. So there's a reason for that too. Oh, I see a little white right there. I'm gonna get rid of. All right, so this is ready to export, ready to print. So now I'm going to go to File, Export, Artboard to Files, and then I'll choose where I want it to go and the name that I want it to have, the prefix. I'm going to tell it the artboard content only, and I'm going to make sure that I don't have export selected artboard selected. I want it to select all the artboards because there are 3 of them here. Let's go ahead and export these. I export them as PNGs only when I'm trying to mock them up. I export them as JPEGs when I'm trying to print them because there is an issue with it resizing things when you export as a PNG. It's only the PNG option. When you export as a JPEG, it does exactly fine. I have not found the workaround for that yet. I don't know why it does that, but because I cannot control it, I don't export them as PNGs when I'm ready to print. I export them as JPEGs when I'm ready to print. All right, so we'll go ahead and run that, and hopefully I'm not using up too many resources right now with the live recording, so that it does allow us to get through this export process. Meanwhile, I'm gonna check on y'all. Oh, Chris Pooh, the one I did last year, I am updating it, but this one, if I update it to be, and that's what I'm working on, I updated it to be a smart color one plus the extras like this one. It will be a separate purchase just because I'm changing so much about it. It's not the same file anymore, and it's going to be able to design not just the stole, it will design the all over shirt, and it will design the 13 by 19. So it will be a new one. Now what I did say I would do is put it on the Academy, so that if you're in the Academy, you can use your discount code to get it for $7.50, but it will be on the regular Innate Lab website. It will be $30 there because it'll be a bigger and more substantial file than just the stole file itself. Okay, so instead of $30, you'll be able to get it for $7.50 if you're a VIP member, and then it'll be like $9.90 if you're a standard $30 member. But if you're not a member at all, then of course you can purchase it for it'll be $30, but it will be very much like this one. It's a lot of work to make sure that these things all change together and it's seamless. And I've started it with the watercolor version, so if you have the watercolor version and you want to see that done today, then let me know and I'll go ahead and make that available today. No, that's why I said this one will be a different one, so it won't have the grad cap because the other one had a grad cap and a fan. This one will be exactly like this setup. I will have the watercolor version of it exactly like this setup. So you can, you know, take these elements that you have on the all over shirt and make them the grad cap design. That's completely up to you, and that's what I'm saying. You're able to use the same layout for different orientations of design. So if you have a square, which is your grad cap, pull this over and make a custom file just for your grad caps. Pull the same images over and then just make sure it fits within that square. Yeah, you're welcome, Chrissy Poo. So I will put that on my agenda today. That's one of the things I had on my list of things to do today. So the watercolor file was the one that people requested most to do the smart template. Okay. Yeah, so the 125 one would at least give you a totally different look. So this one is a new one, new experience of how it works and everything. So I'm really excited about how this turned out. This was the first, I think the first smart collection template. No, it wasn't, because the I believe the all overish hoodie template is very similar to this. But the idea that basically you can get multiple designs out of one template and changing out just a few elements is something that that I really wanted to be able to provide to you, because it cuts down on work. Alright. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. I think I already exported my elements, so now I'm going to show you what those look like individually. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So these are exported, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and grab the mock-up file, and that's the other thing I'm going to give you all with this. It'll be a separate mock-up file. So if you go to the 125 class, this is where you purchase this template, and it'll have the mock-up file with it. So let me go ahead. Oops, I opened the wrong file. Alright, not that one, this one. Okay, so this is the mock-up file that you get with the 125 course. And there's one without an all over, because I decided actually to add the all over after we did class, because we just did the 13 by 19 in the stole. So once we finished class, I was like, you know what, this would be nice if it also designed the all overs, so that when you want to prove something to the customer, they can decide whether they want to pay extra to get the all over or just do the 13 by 19 version. So like I said, you all asking me these questions, definitely don't be ashamed to ask me the questions, because it does help to create better content for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead, let's just focus on changing these out. So I have the all over version, double click, there's my all over. I'm just going back to my file now, so I'm going to take the all over, and this is where I was saying if I weren't printing this, so I'm probably going to end up printing this. So since I'm going to end up printing it, I'm bringing it over as the image with the sleeves on it, right? If I were printing this on my 13 by 19 all over split file template on my personal, printer, and not submitting it to Innate Lab, then I absolutely would leave all of the background on there. I'm just resizing it so I don't have any white out here. Well, I thought I was resizing it. What did I do? There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to close out of that. So see how that updates now? And then same thing for the 13 by 19. I'm going to double click on it. It's a smart object. Double click on it, and I'm going to drag and drop my image of the 13 by 19. Boom, there it is. And I'm just deleting some of these extra layers so I can keep the file smaller. And then same thing for the stole now. Double click it, and this is all in the class, so I know I'm going really fast with this stuff, and it's because it's supposed to be a rush design order, so I don't want to spend too much time explaining, but they did give us the permission to use this one online, so you get to see the process, but you're gonna have to understand that I gotta hurry up and do it. All right, so let me update that one, make sure that one came out well. There we go, boom, that's it. And of course I would come up here, change out the colors up there for my gradient, maybe choose that bright green to the dark green. And then of course you can let your customers know, you can use my stuff down here. So for the bullet points, I'm going to change the colors there. And of course you don't tell them free template, but you can say smart color change, photo change, logo change, edit the text, and maybe you can put like the price here instead of free template, and like the price of the all over shirt versus the price of 13 by 19, etc. So use this to your advantage. I know it's my mock-up file, but I think that you can really get some good use out of it. I chose a lighter color because the outline is black. Alright, so that's it. So now I'm going to go ahead and save that. And we're done. Alright, so this particular one is set up. I'm going to go ahead and this is actually what I'll send to the client right now so that they can send to their client, and they have the Photoshop version where they can edit it. So what I'm going to do, because it's something they may want to show their customers, I'm going to take off the top, the bullet points, and those words there so they can just show the customer this. So let's do File. We'll do a little Save As, and we'll just save it as a JPEG. And then that way, if you want to watermark it or put your name at the top, that's still available. All right, so I'm just going to ask a quick question real quick. Is this good? Or do we need to make any changes? Question mark. And then I have file saved and ready to go. Alright, so that's that design. I'll stick around to see if y'all have any questions meanwhile while I'm waiting on this one. Awesome, thanks Lisa. Alright, so meanwhile, let me check to see. Alright loves, I'm back. I had to turn off the sound for just a moment. Let's see. So that one is done. I think we have another one to work, another graduation one that I need to get done today. And let's see if we can go ahead and pull that one up. And this one, and as a matter of fact, let me message Lakeisha and let her know that we're going live, or we're live. And let me grab this link real quick. Let's see. Alright, so I just sent over the link for that. Hopefully she'll go on and join us. I'll save in the meantime what we've been working so hard on, which I don't think I hit save enough. And then if you're in the academy, when we save, I ask y'all to do the save dance, just so that is something that you remember to do. I don't even want to say periodically. I want to say frequently save your work. You never know when Photoshop is going to throw a little temper tantrum, or your computer is going to tap out on you, or anything like that. So you want to save frequently. Alright, so let's see, we are on this next one. Oh, this one's going to be nice. Okay, so this one we're going to work off of the Just Did It. So let me go ahead and bring up my Just Did It. Alright, so I'm going to do Just Did It. And we have 3 beautiful photos. Yes, this is going to be nice. Alright, so let me see, Lakeisha, are you here right now? And if anyone sees Lakeisha in the comments, please let me know so I can look out for her as I'm designing. Thank you, Rona. I appreciate it. Yes, we got 30 likes. Let's get it. I'm excited. And this is during y'all's work day too. Y'all probably on your lunch break right now, trying to get a couple of bites in before they aggravate you for the rest of the day. So I appreciate y'all spending this time with me. Alright, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna bring up our new one, and I only like to have one template up at a time. I'm kind of pushing it. My system is supposed to be a little more advanced, but even I have issues with Photoshop sometimes, depending on how much I have going on. So I want y'all to be aware of that. It's not just your systems, but you may have to upgrade your systems, you may have to optimize your systems, etc., to have a good Photoshop experience. Alright, so let's see, I'm gonna do the Just Did It. And let me see, I think the red is already there for the other one, so I'll just go ahead and bring up that one. See, this is the right file. I have about 12 versions of every file at any given moment, so okay, this is the right one. So we're going to change this one out. This is on the Innate Lab website. We didn't do this one as an Academy course. This is an Innate Lab template, and we're going to change it out right now for the 13 by 19. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this one, so I'm not using up too many resources. We'll go back to source image, and I think there's one more I need to design. So if Lakeisha isn't here right now, I can work on the other one. Let's see, I want to make sure if she's here that she can be a part of the process. Oh, if you're in the Academy, Nikki, you have a special coupon code. If you are a $30 member, then you have a 67% off coupon code. If you are a $60 member, then you have a 75% off coupon code. Just go to, when you go to your products, it'll be a little credit card that says Innate Lab on it, or Innate Academy on the credit card, and you'll use whatever code is active. That code changes every single week. So you need to just go to that credit codes list, and then you'll be able to copy that coupon code and use it. If you're a VIP member, instead of $30 for a course, if you want to access it early, you're only paying $7.50. So yeah, if you're a member, definitely remember to use your membership discount codes because they are some deep discounts. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one done because it's in front of me, and if I close it, it'll go on the bottom of my to-do list, and that thing never ends. I don't know how many of you out there have a to-do list that is never a to-done list. It's just done. It's never done. All right, so let's go ahead, same idea here. We have a smart color feature here, but before I start changing the colors, the first thing I'd like to do is pull in the photos and the logos, because that's going to set the stage for the colors, the layout, and everything else that I might want to do. So since Lakeisha isn't here, I'm going to see if I can get this done in 10 minutes, okay? So it is, I'm going to say it's 12:40. And we're going to go ahead and get started and see if I can do a little 10-minute challenge. And if y'all like this idea of 10-minute challenges, let me know and we'll do some more 10-minute challenges. All right, so we're going to go to Remove, BG, and I'm going to drag and drop my photos from a folder. 1. Beautiful. 2. Now this is a pixelated image, but we can still use it. It's going to be more or less in the background there. And 3. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so now this one's a low resolution image, but we're going to still be able to use it. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll make her kind of lean on the just did it right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and download the low resolution version of it. And I'm going to keep with the naming system of photo 3, 2, and 1. This one has a high resolution version, but I know that's not a high resolution image. So I'm going to go ahead and do my HD. I have plenty of credits, so I'll use my credits. Anytime I have the ability for a paid customer to do the high resolution image and it's worth it, I'll just go ahead and do it. Because I feel like the quality in is the quality out. So if I can get a higher quality for what I've been entrusted to do, then I will do that. I know this one is high resolution. This is a gorgeous picture too. Okay. All right, I can close on out of that, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready to replace my images. Now I don't have to replace these with smart objects because with this style you don't know if you're going to end up with 2 images or 20 images, depending on how people want to collage this type of experience. So let's go ahead and cut off the photos there. So these are going to be the back photos, and I'm going to go ahead and drag in this one. Like I said, I was going to kind of try to make it look like she's leaning on that there. Alright, there's one. And this one was a smaller image. I'll bring that one in. And because I'm sure we're just supposed to have just a single person there, so I'm going to go ahead and edit it to take out the other individual. And I can just double click on it. It's a smart object. And grab my little lasso tool real quick and just kind of split them up there. And I'm just hitting delete. And I'm not worried too much about what's going on down here on the feet because I'm probably going to hide that part. Oh, it needs to be on the, what am I doing? the plus sign there so we can add to the selection. Alright, there we go. So now I can close out of that. I can say yes to update it, and now it's just her in the image. Now I'm going to see, let's see how we may end up hiding that here and what images we're going to use. Because I have 3 images, so I have to kind of figure out that balance. And this is precisely why you want to charge per photo, because it's not just about how many photos you have to cut out. It is about how many photos do I have to figure out where they go, composition, which one goes on top, which one do I use primarily, and very rarely are you going to get any good information on which one needs to go where. Alright, so this one is going to go in the foreground photos, which are up here, the front photos. And I need to save as, I'm tripping. Save this in the appropriate folder. I'm just saving it with the client's number and name there. So that I don't get confused. I'm telling y'all, if y'all do these templates all the time and then you have 300 people's photos in there, like just saved over one another, your file gets messy, it gets huge for no reason. And you end up having to do quite a lot. So I'm thinking I like placement of this one either here, here. Okay, I think I can go with that. Let's do Control T so we can transform it down a little bit. And then this one I will actually place in the background. And I do like to have it kind of popping out of my frame a little bit. Make that one a little bit larger. And then we can take this photo and bring it to the foreground. So let's bring that in front of everything. And I'm just cutting down on some of these extra images just to make the file a little bit smaller. And of course we're going to fade that image off because y'all know how I feel about that. And then I'm going to hide, probably hide our foot behind that logo once we change the logo out. Okay, so let's go ahead and change the logo out. Double click on it and we'll turn off the existing logo after we bring our new one in. Oh, we don't have a logo for this one. Let me see if it was given to me in the instructions. Let's see. Red, black, and white. Blunky, High School Panthers. So let's see if we find anything interesting for that. I love when y'all give me these challenges. Well, I can't say I love it because sometimes it's a little much. But hey, this is a good one. I like that logo. Alright, let's see if that's going to be a decent size there, and I think it may be. Yeah, let's open the image in a new tab and grab that. Oh, it lied. Boy, I tell you. Where was that image? Now I have to search Facebook for the image. Let me just see. Okay, that's good enough. I can grab that image, save image as, let's save it as logo panther. Boom, there it goes. And that's all I needed. I was going to have to cut the bunky high off of it anyhow, so that's good. I'm good there. So now I can close out of all of this after I drag this JPEG into the smart object for the logo here. And then same as I said before, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. If I have too many windows open, it starts to lag a little bit. So I'm going to grab my magic wand tool, grab the white, and see how I'm getting that white inside the tooth there. So we're going to have to do that special move again. I'm also going to hold down shift and get the white, get the clear part, the transparent part on this outside meat. There we go. And in order to not have this inside part be anything but white, I'm going to take my lasso tool. I'm going to hold down Alt. Now it's letting me hold down Alt. Look at that. And then when I do that, see how it excluded that part? I'm going to come up here, do the same thing, hold down Alt, and just make sure that I include that part there, make it a little cleaner right there. And I'm good with that. Alright, so let's go on now to do our selected mask. Make sure it's going to look nice and clean. And we have to select the inverse because I have the outside meat selected right now. That's why the inside is red. So if I put invert, boom, there it is. And I think this works. I don't even need to do any real smoothing. I'll do a little bit just in case there's any jagged edges. But I can say okay to this now. Create a layer mask, and I have a transparent logo. Let's go ahead and turn off the existing logo. Make sure first of all this one is in the right place. So wherever the previous logo one is, this is going to replace it. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, or a little bit more positioned to the top of the image. Alright, so let's exit and save and see how it updates and if we like it. Alright. So in this case, the logo is long now instead of tall. So we're going to have to do a little bit of transforming. So Control T here. And I'm trying to get as much of the logo that is recognizable as possible without the logo looking really tiny or out of place. So I think that works there. And there is a watermark logo somewhere here, all the way to the top. So we're going to move this one because it's a little bit different. Let's see where it would be recognizable, but still kind of abstract. See how we can see a tooth right there and a little bit of the logo right there? That's cool. Now we need to change the smart color, right? So the smart color, go all the way up to the top. We can double click it. Right now it goes from the light blue to black, but we can just simply grab this red from her hat here and get that hex code, copy it, so that when I double click, oh, I already have a red there. But let's just show you how you would do it if you didn't already have a red there. I'm going to right click, duplicate that layer, double click on the gradient, change out the red there, and boom, that's it. And I know I told y'all 10 minutes, I think we started at 12:40, but I've been doing a lot of talking still. But I just want you to see that you can change these out in 10 minutes. And we'll see while we're waiting on the color to update, we should see an update here. Alright, so there it updated to red beautifully, and I just need to change out, let me select my move tool, there's a little logo that's meant to go on top of the period there, and it's going to be perfect because that's going to cover up her foot. Look at that. Alright, now if I want it to officially cover up the foot, I'm going to have to bring it above it, but I have a trick to show you. If you don't want to move the position of things, then you can do a layer mask. So what I want essentially is to remove the part of her foot that's in front of this logo, right? So if I do Control, select the logo here, and then I go to the photo, I can do a layer mask. So I'm going to go to layer, layer mask, and I'm going to hide the current selection. So then that way the mascot is in front of that. And I should have made it a little bit bigger because I forgot I have the effects here on the outside. So I can do that with a little quick paintbrush. I'm going to try to be as neat as possible, but this isn't really what's important. But what I'm doing here is I'm just brushing away the part of the photo. And revealing that little outline part. So it did a great job of covering up where that that little scroll, that little squiggly thing was. And let's see if we need to change out names or anything to that effect. It doesn't give me a name here. And I do see the high school name, so I can do that. I can go right here to where, oh, what am I painting on? Let me go right here to Lake Region, double click on the T, change that out. And I don't have to put we can put Bucky High School. Then I don't have to put the word Panthers there because we have the logo. And then of course I'm going to fade off the image here. Let's go to our photo 1, add a layer mask, grab our paintbrush tool, make it bigger. You can also right click to make it bigger. I do Alt, I hold down Control Alt, and then I drag my mouse left to right to make it bigger. And I'm going to paint black to conceal. Alright, so that looks done. Of course the name, I didn't get a name to put on here. Okay, so I'm just going to make it invisible. So I'll right click, grab that text, turn off the eyeball. Alright, so that is essentially done. I kind of don't like how the black in this panther is a little gray, but I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to recolor it. But you know what I can do? Let's do some levels. And I need to break it down to just the logo, create a clipping mask. There we go. That way it's a little bit darker. I didn't like how gray it was. And then I'm going to put a little white stroke around it, hopefully, so it pops out a little bit more. Doop doop. Put a little drop shadow. Doop doop doop. And let me stop duping around here because this is how I get into over a 10-minute design. Duping around. Y'all don't be duping around, okay? Alright, so if I'm not going to do the name at the bottom, I could bring the text down a little bit or you know, bring things down so it takes up some more space. But I'm thinking they're probably going to come back to me and ask me to put the name. So I'm going to leave it as is. And make sure I do the save dance because I don't think I've done the save dance this whole time. And y'all can see how you can change these out in 10 minutes. And see a little transparency there I don't want to see. Boom. Photo. Go to layer mask. And just want to clean that up just a little bit. There we go. Alright, and this is why I can't stare at anything too long because I'll start nitpicking. So now I can go ahead and save this. If you save as a PNG, you don't end up with the same problems as exporting a PNG. So I'm going to save it as a PNG. Boom, boom. That's done. Go ahead and proof that and see if that is good for the client. Ready to go. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And let's see if there's anything else I was supposed to do. That one's done. That one's done. Latrice, good question. So when you use the code in the Academy, it's only good for stuff in the Academy. There's no distinguishing between courses and templates in the Academy. It's pretty much a built-in package. But if you try to go over to Innate Lab, no, the codes don't work for Innate Lab. They only work for the Academy. So that's a good question. Do you need Affinity and Photoshop? No, you don't need Affinity at all. I actually suggest that everyone learn off of Photoshop, and if you don't have Photoshop, please, please, please use my affiliate link. It gives me a little credit, and it shows Photoshop that I have a little pull in this design world, and then they will listen to us when it comes to issues that we may face that we want them to to update and change with the program. So it's not just about the little commission that I get. I do get a very small commission for you all purchasing through the affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So it's almost like giving me a tip, but not having to come out of pocket. So I appreciate it. It's not necessary, but I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, it shows the Photoshop folks over there what type of community that we have. So when we say, hey, there are issues that we think are silly, like for instance, one thing I want them to change is when I right click on something, duplicate and delete are literally right next to one another. How is that not an issue? I guess that's just like if you had the gas, like right, I guess that is, you have the gas and the brake next to one another. But anyways, but you do gas and brake without looking at it. You have to look at these to choose. And the fact that duplicate and delete are right near each other, I guarantee you will have an issue with that probably about 25% of the time, okay? Anyway, so things like that, I would like features for issues that we have. The smart color, I want to contact Photoshop and let them know, hey, there should be a smart color feature in Photoshop. It doesn't exist. I'm tired of designing all my templates and making up the word smart color, so maybe they'll give me some credit for that. and actually implement that into the programming, okay? So yes, definitely use that. And if you haven't used it, if you want to, I'm not telling you have to or that you should, but if you already have Photoshop and you decide to like renew your subscription or do a new subscription, go ahead and use my link when you sign up for your new subscription, or or you're renewing, and then that way it gives me credit, and it also shows the strength of our community, okay? I've seen people using it lately, and I'm so happy. I've had this, and I have been forgetting to tell you all about my affiliate with Photoshop. All right, but they have not been forgetting to advertise on my videos. I know y'all see all the ads. All right, let's see. Okay, so this grad template, no, you can't apply the code for it because it's on the Innate Lab website. It's not an Innate Academy file. So if you want anything that you see on the Innate Academy site are what you can use the Academy codes for, okay? And Crystal, if you go to the Innate Creatives group, I did a post about what the requirements are for Photoshop and what I recommend. I also did a video sometime on my recommendation, but my recommendation is that you have a computer that has 32 gigs of RAM. I know that might be a lot for some of you, but the better you get your systems now, the less you'll have to upgrade in the future. So 32 gigs of RAM is great for Photoshop. I think it requires only 8, but I'm saying the minimum should be 16. You should not be trying to run Photoshop with an 8 gig machine unless you're just doing it on the machine that you have for now and then going to upgrade. But if you're talking about purchasing a computer, make sure it has at least 16. My preference is 32 gigs of RAM. That's going to be the first thing that messes you up with Photoshop if you don't have the appropriate RAM to handle. The number one thing that people run into is it says their scratch disks are full. Your scratch disks are usually full because you have so much on your hard drive that Photoshop doesn't have enough space to think, because it has to think first and then consolidate. So if it doesn't have the expansion to think, it'll just tell you, hey, I can't even save your file right now, so I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to look at it, you're going to shut me down, I don't care, I can't save your file. So when it tells you scratch disk is full, that's a huge indicator that you need a bigger hard drive. And the hard drive that I suggest is at least 500 megs. If you can get a gig of hard drive space, that is, you know, really great. Okay. The other thing is your graphics card, and if you're getting a system that has a 16 to 32 megabyte RAM and has a 500 500 megabytes of hard drive space, more than likely you're going to have a decent graphics card. Okay, so the graphics card isn't as much of the problem as what I've been seeing with the RAM and the what was I saying? The RAM and the hard drive space. Okay, and it can be any system. I have a Acer, I have a HP. I actually have an HP business one that I got, and it's running really decent. Where did I get it from? Was it Tiger Direct? Let me see. Was it Tiger Direct or was it like Canva? Something. It was one of those computer stores where they sell like refurbished computers. It might have even been Newegg. Okay, so Newegg, and let me see if I can pull up my details without showing y'all all my business. Let's see if I can show you what I bought. Now I gotta go to the email to verify some stuff, which of course is never as easy as it sounds because I have a million emails. Alright, and this is what Newegg, which is probably in my spam. This is why, see, life just can't be easy anymore. We got to have all this security because folks out here doing the most, stealing your identities, and there we go. Took a little while for it to come through. Let me verify that. Hopefully this is where I bought this computer, so I won't be telling y'all no lies and holding up your time. Alright, so let's see if this is it. Let me show y'all the specs on this thing. Okay. Alright, so this might be a good point to highlight for a little quick video. But So this is, I was looking for a desktop computer because I'm frequently on my laptop. I know that it is cheaper to get a more powerful desktop computer and more reliable than the laptop, because the laptop is, you know, it's thinner, it has to be lighter, you have to cool it off. I actually have a fan that I sit my laptop on. It's a special fan for laptops to try to keep it cool because it can't overheat. So all of those considerations, I was like, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and build me a little desktop. And these are already made. You just have to choose your specs. So for this one, I think this is what I chose. I got this 1650 here. So I got the highest. This is the CPU speed, or like the processor speed, which is important. So I went ahead and chose the highest processor speed. I got the highest memory capacity I could get, 64 gigs of RAM. But like I said, if your budget was 16, you'll see this jump. Oh, looks like these went up big time. Okay, so let me change it back. I guess it depends on who is able to build it for you, because these are people basically building these. So I got 64 gigs, 1 terabyte was the highest, solid state drive. Now I got a solid state drive because your computer starts up faster with a solid state drive. It's supposed to be more reliable, it doesn't have moving parts, so it allows it to think faster, right? But if you went with the HDD, that's a regular old hard drive, the ones that you're used to, and you could probably get a 2 terabyte regular hard drive versus a 1 terabyte solid state drive. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, they still taxing. So, oh, this is because it's in addition. So if I take off the solid state drive, yeah, look at that. And I know we love our laptops because we like to take them everywhere, but if you're really like wanting something that's more powerful, this would be a good computer for you to do all of your hard work on. And then you have your laptop where, you know, of course if you need to do something on the road, or you need to you know, edit something real quick on your bed while you don't feel like getting out to work on anything, this is a good price. And of course you need your monitor and your monitor cables and all that stuff, but nowadays you can get your monitor, HDMI cable, and rock out. Of course I suggest 2 screens, dual monitors, so I have dual monitors set up on this one. And I use, I'm going to show y'all, I use the HDMI, and this one looks like, does it have 2 HDMIs on it? I can't see it. I haven't pulled this thing out enough to see it, but I use the HDMI, and there's probably also a DVI slot here, and then there's also something called a display port, so the display port works as well. But yeah, so I purchased this one. It wasn't bad at all. I'm sure that this is basically a refurbished computer, so they just upgrade the parts. But that's not a problem to me, because I would rather, I think, what did I show y'all? I had a solid state drive, so I'm going to take off this one. So I would rather spend, you know, $450 and possibly have to buy another one if it just really let me down, than to spend, you know, $2,000. This is a laptop would cost $2,000 easily. Probably over $2,000 because of the solid state drive and the memory, right? So this would easily be a $2,000 laptop. So I can choose a laptop that, my laptop has 32 gigs. My solid state drive is only 512, but that laptop was almost a $2,000 laptop. So now I'm looking at, well, maybe I need to upgrade my laptop because I'm doing a lot more larger files and needing to access things. So the better you get your specs in the beginning of your purchase, the less likely you are to have to upgrade soon in the future. Every time I get a computer, I make sure it's going to last me at least 5 years. It's going to keep up with the times for at least 5 years. And I've had computers that's lasted me 10 years or more. That basically are my computers that I use now. I use those laptops to power the printer or another workstation so that I don't have to bog down my main computer with every element of printing and you know, downstairs versus upstairs work, that sort of thing. So that's just a suggestion. Good question, good question. Oh, and Crystal, you use the Photoshop on the iPad. Yes, it does not have all the capabilities on the iPad, but it's still pretty decent. And it might be a little difficult to do some of these templates on the iPads because you know we use advanced features. All right, Chrissy Poo, you like Newegg? Yeah, Newegg used to be my joint, and when they had really good prices, and now they just kind of, you know, it's hit or miss. But yeah, I use them from time to time, especially for computer components. Let's see, what sublimation paper to use for the best color pop? Elisa, great question. If you go to the Innate Creatives Facebook group, I tell you the roll paper that I use for my big printer. I tell you the paper that I use for the 13 by 19 inch printer, and the one that I use for 13 by 19 inch printer, it comes in different sizes. So depending on what size printer you have, as long as it's the Epsons, you can use that paper. And if you happen to have the Sawgrass, they take a special kind of paper. But the color pop for me is not the paper. The color pop for me is the ink, and that's the True Colors ink. I have used all sorts of paper over my lifetime of being an artist and being a sublimator. And the paper for me, the only difference with the paper is sometimes, you know, people will say it's a higher ink release, but it's, I haven't seen that to be that concerning of an issue or that much of a deal. If you use regular copy paper versus sublimation paper, yes, you will see differences in the coloration and the ink release. But I don't use regular copy paper unless it was a absolute emergency, or when I used to go to the flea market and I didn't want my sublimation paper to get get around the humidity and get messed up. I would get the 13 by 19 paper. I forget the brand. I want to say it's a Nina paper. I think it's a Nina copy paper, and I would print on it and it would sublimate just fine. My reds would be a little bit off, and but it would work, and it was a fraction of the cost of sublimation paper. But I can't stand for my colors not to be spot on, so that's why I use the True Colors ink. And I do use like the text print paper that I give you the link for, and there are a couple of other brands that I've used their paper for that I can vouch for. Oh no, she could be. Yeah, no, I don't have an automatic tile for 11 by 17, and that's because most people that can print 11 by 17 also have a 13 by 19 printing capability. So because it takes a lot of my resources to make those the automatic tile templates, I didn't make an 11 by 17 one. These monitors, I can't recall where I got the monitors from, but you can even go to like a Goodwill. They'll have monitors for like 20 bucks, 15 bucks, and as long as they're like the LCD or the LED, well nowadays they're probably all LEDs, LED monitor, and it'll take either a DVI cable or an HDMI cable, then you're great. Most of them will by default take the older cables, which are the VGA cables, those blue ones, with the blue ends, and then a DVI cable is a little bit more recent than the VGI. A VGA, and it looks like a VGA, it's just white and it has different pins. So I don't even see it on the back of this image, but the one that I have actually does. Down here in the video card area, it has a place for the DVI and HDMI. And so even right now, if I needed to set me up a separate workstation, like you say, like I tell you, I have like an upstairs, downstairs type of deal, I will probably get another one of these desktops before I got another laptop, just to have a solid workstation. That's just the real. And I told y'all it took me forever to set up my desktop. I was working off of my laptop for the past 6 months since I moved. I was being real lazy, and I still had this one packed up. And I do see a huge difference, you know, when I'm working on render in my Photoshop files. I do. And absolutely, Lisa, we're going to do a True Colors ink challenge. So I would love for you to try out the True Colors ink with what you're testing right now, and let me know what you honestly think. And the monitors that hook up to the laptop screen, most of the time you just need a monitor that has an HDMI input and output. So let me see if I can show you show you my little Amazon screens. For a laptop, I'm going to show you the screens that I have set up. Let me see if I can go find these little inexpensive screens. Maybe they're called monitors. So these are the screens that I have, the portable monitors. I have these for my laptop, and they come off of this case. And you can use a Type-C cord, or you can use the HDMI. It comes with an HDMI cord as well. So I think I've shown y'all on video before when I did a demonstration. I showed you my laptop situation. It's on a little rolling cart, and then I have two of these monitors attached to the side. So I have my laptop is a 3-screen setup. So I have a monitor to the left, monitor to the right, and then I have my screen in the middle, and I have it attached with this little thing here, which does pinch on my screen. So I don't suggest it if you have a nice laptop. My laptop is a little bit older, and I've kind of already come to grips that that by pressing on the screen here, it is potentially damaging it, because I can see how the color changes in those areas. But you know, you can put your iPad on the side there. Some of you watch me on the iPad when we're in class. That's just one of those things that is convenient for the setup, and also convenient for, like, if I take it on the road, then I have a 3-screen setup. If I go to the coffee shop, or, you know, if I go to Starbucks, I will set up my 3 screens, and then people are looking at me crazy like, oh wow, you must really be important, you have 3 screens. So and I guess essentially you could even set something like that up. But yeah, this is the life. You figure out how to make whatever it is work, and use whatever tools you have at your disposal. So I think those monitors were like $140 a piece, and they're only that expensive because they're basically thin. They're like tablets, so it's like putting a tablet on my laptop as an extra screen. And of course, monitors you can find anywhere. You can go to Newegg right now and type in monitors, and find some inexpensive monitors, $100 or less for, you know, brand new monitors. And like I said, go to Goodwill, and these monitors that I have, they're secondhand monitors. I got them for $20 a piece, and these are 23-inch. They probably look a little something. What is it? A HP? HP. Let me see it. And let me see if they have used. Let me type in used, and let's see. Apply. And I think these are 23-inch, which I don't like the big monitor side by side, I'm not gonna lie, because it hurts my neck. If I'm gonna do more than one monitor, I like to stick with like the 19-inch screens, just because I can transition my neck easier from looking at one screen to the other. Your screens are too big, it becomes uncomfortable. So I mean, I would just go to Goodwill or something. I think this is what I have right here. This is the exact one that I have. I got them for $20. Yeah, this is what I have right now. Looking at it right now. So $120 screen. See if you can go to your local Goodwill or just secondhand electronic store, and they'll probably have monitors anywhere from $15 to $30. Especially if you just need one to connect to your laptop so that you have dual screens. This one I got 2 of the same exact style. Yep, this is it, because I remember it was so hard for me to get to one of these and try to this VGA and try to unscrew it. Oh my gosh, my fingers were cramped up in there trying to unscrew it because somebody screwed it in real tight. But anyways, you see, these are the ports that I was talking about. Will it zoom in for you? Well, of course you won't. But the blue one is the VGA. The white one here is a DVI. They kind of look the same. And then this one here is not an HDMI port. It's called a, it's not a DVI. What is it called? I can't think of that right now. But it's a display port. That's what it's called. So it's not an HDMI, it's a display port, but it still does high resolution just like HDMI. It's just a different type of cord that you have to look for and ask the people of Best Buy to go ahead and get you the right cord. So that's a display port. So when I bought these monitors, I had HDMI cords, which of course did not work for this monitor. So whatever monitor you get, you can get a cord that goes HDMI to the display port, and that's what I have because my computer system takes an HDMI and then my monitor takes the DVI. So you can get converters or cords that have different ends to them, okay? But dual screens is going to be the way to go if you are learning Photoshop. Right? So I'm here answering a few questions because I know y'all don't get to me too often, and I do want to spend a little time and make sure that I'm answering questions outside of just doing template designs. Yep, absolutely. So Cristal says you can use the TV for a monitor. Absolutely, that's my first suggestion. Especially when we're doing the academy courses, get your HDMI cable. You probably already have one to your TV, and just plug it into your laptop, and your TV can be your second screen until you get a dedicated second screen for your design. Okay. Awesome. Yep, finding a way that's exactly what I did. I have a setup for my laptop that's like dedicated, you know, a couple of extra screens for that one, and then I have my setup for my desktop. So good deal. I'm glad to see that you're setting up and this is important to you. I know this seems like sometimes the geeky stuff that is not so fun, but you kind of need it to operate. So these are answers I don't mind sharing with you all. Okay, let me see if there was anything else that I'm supposed to do. Let me go ahead and send Lakeisha her stuff. Meanwhile, I think I have one more design to do if y'all want to hang out, depending on if they say we can do it live or not. I have to check and see. And I'm going to put the monitor there in the comments. So finding a way if you needed the monitor, it's there. And this isn't an affiliate link. I don't have affiliate link set up with Amazon yet. Maybe I should. But I'm just sending you the link for that one. And I wouldn't even tell you to buy this monitor from here. Just honestly, I would tell you to, you know, check out your local stores if you just need a backup monitor. Because it's not like this one was so great that I would tell you to buy it full price. I paid $20 for it. I definitely would not have paid $120 for it. And then that's still used. So, nah, I'm good on that one. But then, oh, did I click out of the computer? I think I did. Let me see if I can give y'all my specs on that computer again. Hold on. Just in case you want to get the exact computer. Oh no, that wasn't Tiger Direct. That was Newegg. Alright, so making sure everything is what I had. Yep. so I'm going to copy and paste this in the comments for you all too. Hey, Julia, good deal. I'm glad you got your socks. And even if your TV is old but works, that is still what's up. It works. Good deal. So I'm glad you got dual screens. It will change your life. You will never want to design on one screen again. Anytime I have to just break out my regular laptop without my extra screens, it makes me want to take a nap and not work. Just to let you know. Like if I know I'm not working on dual screens, I don't even want to do it. All right, so I put that in the comments for you all as well. Let me also put it on my FAQs because I know I will get this question after this video. I know it. All right, so there we go. It says I can pin the message. I don't know if it pins it up later or what. All right, love, so let's see what else there is. All right, so it is 1:30. I need to check one more order. That's it. That's it. The other one was approved and ready to go. Alright, so looks like we have some stuff to do for Quantavious needs some help, so I'm going to have to get off live so I can make sure that we get that going because it looks like it's going to be an urgent order and we're getting to cut off time for shipping pickups. I want to make sure we can help out with that. So with all that said, I want to tell y'all that I thank y'all. I love y'all dearly, and you know that I'll be checking in with you about what we're doing for class this Sunday. We are having class Sunday. We're going to be doing the necktie, cufflinks, and pocket square combination, and it's going to be a smart template with a smart pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to start just calling everything smart. Why not? So we're going to do a smart template setup, a smart pattern that basically if you think of how the Gucci or Fendi or like Louis Vuitton logos patterns are, they always have like a repeating pattern, but it's very simple, like it's a monogram. So we're going to do a very simple monogram patterned tie. We'll also do the pocket square and a cufflink with the monograms. And what will happen is hopefully you can start marketing those for Father's Day. It'll be very simple. Most of the time we're trying to look for great gifts for the dads and the men in our lives, and I think that's going to be something that they get a kick out of. So that's what we are doing for class Sunday. Okay, so I'll have a demonstration for y'all. It might not be till Saturday morning, y'all know how I do, but as soon as I develop my template and I have it to where I feel comfortable showing you all how it works, I will do a demo. I'll show you how it works, and then we'll have class Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right. Julia got it where you watching me on both right now. Good deal, love. Okay, so I appreciate y'all spending this time with me. I'm going to get on back to work, and then I will check in with you all later. All right? Until next time, you know what it is. Bye.